Good morning, you two beloved brothers and sisters. It's Sunday. It's very early in the morning, April the 17th, 2016. It's a little bit on the cool side this morning, but it's going to warm up and as the sun comes up, as the sun rises. But I love to come out here early in the morning and I bring my Bible with me and I pray and I read the Bible as the sun's coming up and I have my coffee. Very important video. Very important video. Many people today are asking the question, do you think that I will go in the rapture? And that's what this video is about. That we have to search our own heart. We have to search our heart of hearts to know if we are worthy to escape all these things that are to come upon this whole earth. And we see it happening. It's happening quickly now. Look at the earthquakes. Just in the last few days, back-to-back major earthquakes in Japan. And now this mysterious foam that has covered the ground in Japan. 7.8 magnitude, massive earthquake, 7.8, 7.9 in Ecuador. He's coming very quickly. He's about to break the sky. And church, we've got to look over our life and the lifestyle that we're living. And we've got to search our heart and ask the question that every bride needs to ask. Are we living a life that is pleasing to the Father, or are we trapped in a web of sin and deceit? That's what we have to ask today. Gather around this morning. I'm going to have my coffee. Let me know what you're going to share with Pastor Dave before I deliver this very important message. It may not set well with many. Hopefully I don't offend too many, but I have to bring you the truth. You have to hear the truth. That's what this whole channel is about. I am going to preach today because that's what I was called to do, to preach the Word of God and to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. We've got to search our heart of hearts. We've got to search our life to see what kind of lifestyle are we living. Are we living in sin? What we do on our daily walk, is that pleasing? Is it pleasing to the Father? Let me know what you're going to share. Where's my Dr. Pepper curl? Let me know what you're going to share with Pastor Dave. And then I want to preach this morning because let me tell you something. You don't want to be caught off guard. He is coming. We see everything on the prophecy stage right now. Everything is about to explode and to just like a whirlwind throw this earth, this world into great tribulation. And he's about to come for his church. But is the church truly ready? We've got to change our ways, Church of Jesus Christ. We've got to change our ways. We've got to turn away from a lifestyle of deceit, of lies, of sin. And we've got to do a cleansing from within. Let me know what you're going to share with Pastor Jay. Ministry announcements, and this is very important. We've only had one offering to our ministry and outreach to the homeless. And that's from a precious sister that lives in Texas, and she wishes to remain anonymous. And she gave from her heart everything that she had. She is living in poverty. She is one step, one heartbeat away from homelessness herself. And even though she struggles, she gave everything that she had, not a portion, everything, $1 to our ministry and outreach to the homeless. You know, I come under a great deal of fire from Christian brothers and sisters who say, you know, in the New Testament, the disciples never took a collection. They never asked for money. And this tithing, this 10%, that's from the Old Testament, and it was a food offering. And yes, it was. It was a tenth of your offering that God commanded to give to the priest, going back to the Levites, back to Aaron was a priest. And he did that full time. So, for the sacrifices to go up to God, the people of Israel were to give a tenth of their food offering. A tenth. But when it comes to a collection, that's different. We're to give from our heart. From our heart. And let me remind you, let me take you to the book of Mark. And our precious sister in Texas reminds me so much of this. Mark chapter 12, verse 41, and Jesus sat over against the treasury and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much. They didn't cast in a tenth. That was a food and grain offering from the Old Testament days. Here they were actually taking a collection and giving a collection. And they were throwing in, not a tenth, they were throwing in a lot of money, a portion of their wealth. And this was common practice, to give to the temple or to the church at that time, to the Pharisees, a portion of your wealth so they could go out and they could meet the needs of the people. So they were giving a lot of money back then. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which make a farthing. And he called unto him his disciples and saith unto them, verily I say unto you, that this poor widow has cast more in than all they which have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance, just a portion of their abundance. But she, of her want, did cast in all that she had, even all her living. So this caught the attention of Yeshua, the attention of Jesus, that she gave everything that she had. And surely her small portion was far more than all of the others. I want to share with you from 2 Corinthians, the 9th chapter. But Paul had to deal with the church at that time, but the church being the body, for they were giving very, very handsomely their collections to Paul, to minister and to spread and to go out, so they were able to take care of the poor and to meet the needs of those that are in poverty. And they got into some things that they shouldn't have gotten into, and Paul was afraid, but when the time came to collect the bounty or the offering, that all of the church would be embarrassed because they would not give abundantly. Let me read from chapter 9. I'm going to start at verse 4. Less haply, if they of Macedonia come with me and find you unprepared, we say not ye should be ashamed in the same confident boasting. And Paul was boasting about how generous they were, but he knew that they were falling away, and they all of a sudden were not giving as they once did. Therefore I thought it necessary to exhort the brethren that they should go before unto you and make up beforehand your collection. Wherefore ye had noticed before that the same might be ready as a matter of collection or bounty, and not as of covetousness. But this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully, every man according as his purpose in his heart. So let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. Paul dealt with the same issue when taking in the collection. I wanted to share this because a lot of people come against me. Well, they never asked for money. The disciples, Paul never took a collection. And I just wanted to share this, how the church has just been scattered in so many directions in the end days. I'll put the link to our ministry below. I want to touch on something that may offend many, but we've got to go back to the commandments of God. If we want to be found worthy to escape all the things that come on this earth, we cannot have a lying tongue. We've got to be honest. We've got to be truthful. We just can't speak words that we know, especially up here. Leaders of the church, ministers, pastors, evangelists, televangelists, we just can't speak the words that we know you want to hear. We've got to speak the truth. And we cannot condone sin. And to lie is a sin. It is a sin against God. Many people today, many born-again Christians, believe they are living a life that is very pleasing to God. Yet they say they've made a commitment in their heart to Jesus. Jesus is their bridegroom. They are totally, totally committed to only Him. Yet in their own personal relationships, they can't commit to their partner. That's why the Apostle Paul thought it best maybe that we don't marry, that we don't join together in a union. But if we do, that we do need to have this commitment under God. So many will say, referring to their partner as my wife, Mary, or, for example, my husband, Bill, or my husband, Jim, or my wife, Nancy. But they, under God's eyes, they are not married with witnesses before God. They have not made that commitment. Yet they live in the same house, under the same roof as husband and wife. And let me tell you this, that is fornication. That is not pleasing to the Father. It's best that you separate until you can make a commitment. Don't live under the same roof. Don't refer to that person that you are not committed to, that in your heart you have not made that commitment before God. Don't refer to them as your husband or as your wife, whatever the case may be, and then come and try to preach the gospel to others of how they should live. That is a sin. That is fornication. You are not married. There has been no commitment. Now, many will say that we don't share the same bedroom chamber. That's even worse. To be living together as husband and wife, but not sharing the bedroom chamber, that brings about frustration on both parts, on the male and on the female. To live together and refrain from consummating the marriage, that there is no marriage because there's no commitment. So the frustration, this is not of God. It would be like someone on a very, very strict diet, sitting at a table with a massive plate of biscuits and gravy right in front of them, and the temptation to sin is overpowering and overwhelming. You've got to do away with these things. If you truly love the person you're with, make that commitment before God and before witnesses. We've got to stop the bickering. We've got to stop the division. You know, I come under attack constantly. You take people in, take the homeless into your house. I have. Young man Trent, he is doing just wonderful now. In fact, he is in New York City At a Donald Trump, I seen yesterday, he's at a Donald Trump rally. He lived with us all winter, a young man that was homeless. And a young woman and her beautiful, beautiful 9-year-old daughter. We take in the homeless. We do what we can. But we've got to stop this. Salvation is not a license to sin. That trumpet's going to blow. Gabriel's going to sound the call. Church, we've got to turn from sin and turn to God. Stop following all the things of this world. All the calamities. Watch the signs. Watch. More are coming. Believe me, more are coming. But we've got to be ready for our trip home. It's like getting ready for a trip. Are you ready? Is everything in order? Is your house in order that you can now leave and depart? We've got to go out and preach the gospel. We've got to preach the truth. No more itchy ears. I'm not going to tickle anyone's itchy ears. We've got to go out and we've got to be fishers of men. Because we know that the Great Tribulation is upon this whole world. And there are people that are going to be left here. People are going to be left behind. There are born-again brothers and sisters that are just not bride material. They're not ready. They're not ready. This watchman on the wall is sounding the alarm. Many of you are not ready. Search your heart. You know what is pleasing and what is not to God. We need your help. We need clothing. We need personal hygiene products. We need shirts. The weather's getting a little bit warmer now. Shorts for men and women. Shoes, like gym shoes, tennis shoes, underwear. So much need out here. Help me help others. I'll put the link to our ministry.